All right, everybody. Welcome to another IAEI News Live. My name is Thomas Dimitrovich, and today we're talking cybersecurity. You know why? Because it is officially, I believe, Cybersecurity Awareness Month is the entire month of October. David Engelhardt in the house. Glad to see you, brother. So, good afternoon, ETZ. So, it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and I don't know how I missed it, but I was on a call the other day, last week, after my stream last week, and before this one, and somebody had mentioned that we're in Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And honestly, I wasn't aware of that. So I thought what we should do, Steve Froming, still morning, brother. Oh, it's still morning. Oh, that's right. Good morning. Good morning, Felix Sandoval. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to those of you over in Europe and all that jazz. So today we're going to talk cybersecurity, and it all starts now. Hey, when'd you guys get here? So, you gotta love it. It's cybersecurity. So here's my thought process. A lot of sections, a lot of documents now are putting in cybersecurity requirements. And I think, drummer boy, I know, boom, sorry about that. I know that was probably loud. So in any case, I know cybersecurity requirements are going into a lot of different documents. And here's what I'll do. Here is what I will do. I am just going to take a look, and I think, oh, I can do that over here. I'm going to do that. I'm putting my iPad somewhere where it's not going to get in the way, because what I want to do is call up NFPA link. And if you guys and gals out there do not have NFPA link yet, you know what you got to do is you've got to get a copy of NFPA link. When I say a copy, I mean a subscription, right? And I know you might say, well, geez, it's if I buy a book, if I buy the code book, it's X amount of dollars, and if I'm going to do a monthly payment over the next couple years, and all I needed was the NEC code book, then I'm spending a lot of money. That might be true, but you are getting a lot more for your money when you get NFPA link. Hey, Nihad, great job again today. Great job, buddy. We were able to pull that one out, and I was going live, Nihad, while I sign in on this. I was live this morning when you had called me, which is why I couldn't answer the phone. But you had called me because you couldn't get the meeting started. So, but we got it done, right? And you had a great meeting. So great job again, my friend. We can chat a little bit about the bucketing of all those public inputs afterwards. And for all of you who are watching out there, this again is the first draft. We're in the first draft process for NEC 2026. The task group meetings are going on as we speak. And if you want to get involved with that, I'm going to try this. If you want to get involved with that, if you go to nfpa.org/70next, so go to nfpa.org/70next, scroll down to, now you're on the next edition. So if you end up at this page and you're at the current and prior editions, you're going to want to click the next edition tab. And as you'll see for the first draft, right there at the top, you'll see where it says NEC first draft task group meeting notices. And if you do you can download, it's a PDF, you can view it. And look, there's my name. I got mine scheduled. I believe my first one is tomorrow. What's today's date? Today's the 10th. So my first one is tomorrow, Nihad, and you better be there, buddy. I'm telling you, better be there. And Nihad Al-Sharif was doing his task group 2 work, which is right here. So, and if you want to be a fly on the wall and listen to rock stars like Nihad Al-Sharif do his thing, you click the send Jeff Sargent at nfpa.org an email, and he will add you to the invite. And then Nihad and others will Nihad and other chairs will, you got to follow the rules when you're in these meetings, because you can get kicked out. What you want to make sure that you do is that you are listening, because the voting and all that jazz is really at the discretion of the chair. Voting is task group members only. Discussion, you leave that to task group members and code-making panel members. But if you do have something to contribute, if you contact the chair, you may be able to permitted to either present or speak, etc. Today, I believe we had at least one presenter who presented a presentation to the code panel about their public input. So. All right, so here we go. Back to this. Now, I just want to show you. I'm giving you. You have this link. So if you want to get engaged, if you want to learn and listen to the debates, etc., you can do that. Now I'm going to close this, because what I wanted to do is in NFPA link. Now I've opened up NFPA link, and what this is the search. So I'll tell you what I did. I went to NFPA link. I've got all of my documents that I have bookmarked or whatever. I can view all publications, but the key thing here that you can do in NFPA link is search. That's what we're talking about. The power of the link. You know what? I'm gonna trademark that, but we're gonna call it the power of the link. And I gotta get like a whoosh 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 thing, like one of those overlay videos that goes the power of the link or something like that. Anyway, we're gonna search for cybersecurity across all NFPA documents. Tell me that is not powerful. And Engelhardt, you should be at the Southern Section meeting. What's today? Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. It's the IAEI's Southern Section meeting. But we're going to talk about that right after I do this search. Cybersecurity. Now, when I hit this, it's going to search a bunch of documents, and you'll notice it comes up with NFPA 70, NFPA 72, NFPA 1225, and NFPA 72. Looks like those are the only documents. Is that true? I got 57 hits. You know what it is? Hold on. I got 57 hits, but well, this is a bummer. Let me go to my browser here, and I got to do something. So in any case, while I'm doing this, I'm going to, I don't want to create, I want to close my PDF. I'm in Adobe. I need to go to close current tab. I need to close all of these in Adobe because I don't want to go to Adobe. I want to go to Safari, which I'm in over here. No, I'm not in over there. Where is Safari? Here it is. Here's Safari. Okay. I'm going to break this out and move it over here. You know, but I had roadblocks. You had roadblocks, so you didn't make it to the Southern Section meeting. Really sorry to hear that, David. That place is not going to be the same without you. That's for sure. I hope your roadblocks were okay and not bad roadblocks. So In any case, I am going to call up nfpa.org over here, and let me do this. I need to do my display. I need to go to display. So give me 1 second. How do I do studio mode? Geez, oh man. I am going to go to display, and I'm going to add. Cancel monitor 2. There it is, and turn off monitor 1. All right, here we go. Display iPad. Take that off, and I'm going to hit display. All right. Man, oh day. Things just, where is display? Okay, here we go, guys. Here we go. This is how we do. All right. Let me transition. There we go. All right, so I am now over here on my, what do you call this? My other monitor. And I got to put my iPad over here again. All right, so if I go to NFPA link from the main NFPA website, now I have NFPA link. I'm going to search for cybersecurity. And here we go. So I notice I have 57 hits down here at the bottom. And I've got 6 pages of hits. So we've got 70, 72. We already talked about those. 1225. 72. NFPA 5000, that's the building code. NFPA 731, that's your premises security system. There's your installation of premises security systems. NFPA 915, that's your standard for remote inspections. NFPA 72, which we already said, 1225, which we already said, 731, 72. This is finding everywhere where the term cybersecurity is being used across all NFPA documents. Tell me that's not the power of the link. I just created something, the power of the link, and you, NFPA better not be using that. 59A, standard for production, storage, and handling of liquefied natural gas. Well, that's cool. NFPA 70, 1225, 1225. There's your 1225, NFPA 72, 70, 731, 915, 1082 is a new one. Kidnapping, oh, you'll love this. Kidnapping or hostage incident, act of war, missing person incident, cybersecurity incident. NFPA 1082 is the standard for facilities, fire and life safety, director professional qualifications. And then 59A is the standard for production, storage, and handling of liquefied natural gas. Wow. And then look at all these standards. NFPA 1660, crisis management. Duh, it's a cybersecurity thing. 1660, what else? 731, 1660, 2800. 2800 is the standard on facility emergency action plans. NFPA 2800. So facility action plans. Interesting. How about 1225, standard for emergency services communications? So you've got 57 uses of the term in multiple documents across the NFPA world. And so what that, here's what that tells me. Here's the thing. We have Cybersecurity Month, and I'm going to call this up over here as well. This is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, right? And that was from CISA. You'll love this. Watch this. So this is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. It's America's cyber defense agency. Whoa. It's a Secure Our World Cybersecurity Awareness Month, creating partnerships to raise cybersecurity awareness at home and abroad. So I think that's one of the things we have to remember, is that we're in our electrical world and in the world of codes and standards. We are working on cybersecurity items, requirements in all of these different documents that we just mentioned. And I think it's important for us to understand that it's not just about the electrical industry. It's just like, it's like NFPA 70E. 70E in Informative Annex K. 70E in Informative Annex K, which is right here. Okay, 70E. This is the 2021 edition. I haven't got my paper edition of 70E yet, so it hasn't changed, but I'm going to read. Oh, yay, though I read from the Book of Safety, NFPA 70E, Informative Annex K, Section K.1, the very first sentence saith, electrical industries represent a serious workplace health and safety issue to electrical and non-electrical workers. A lot of what we are trying to do in the electrical industry from a safeties perspective is not just for those in the electrical industry. We have to think about those who use electricity or get benefits from the use of electricity, or have to live and breathe and operate and function in a world where electricity is being applied. So cybersecurity is very similar in that regard. In fact, I don't know if my friends out there in Cisco and other areas and other companies, I put a proposal in for an NFPA 70C Charlie to create a separate document that is focused on cybersecurity, much like you see in 70E. When you talk to someone who understands cybersecurity, they speak in the same words as you'll see in 70E. They'll speak in the terms of risk, likelihood, and severity, right? I'm going to read you the definition of risk, but it's the likelihood of an event and the severity of that event. If you go to Article 100 in NFPA 70E, and you look under R for risk, here's what the words say. A combination of the likelihood of occurrence of injury or damage to health. That's the first part. Likelihood of occurrence of injury or damage to health. And the second part is the severity. Look at balloons. The second part is the severity. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Is the severity of injury or damage to health that results from a hazard. So if I think about cybersecurity, think about a cyber event. You have likelihood and severity. When you talk to somebody who's involved with cyber, partay, baby, partay. When you talk to somebody who is involved with cybersecurity, David, they'll understand that there is likelihood and severity concerns when it comes to cybersecurity and risk due to a cyber attack. I could, for example, let's say that I took a computer or I took a small system and I put it out there as to do some function. And I really don't care if you hack it or not. Maybe I put it there so you're tempted to hack it and you don't hack something else. I don't know. The risk will be low, even though the likelihood is very high because my severity is nil. If I have no severity, if I have no injury or damage, and maybe not to health, maybe to health, if I have no injury or damage to health nor property, even though my likelihood of you getting access to it is very high, then I have no risk. Or I've managed my risk. I think that is more appropriate, managing risk. And you know what I think, David? What if I do this? All right, manage risk. If you manage risk successfully, you're either going to control the likelihood or you're going to reduce the severity. Okay, so those are the two key aspects of, in my opinion, of cybersecurity. Remember, everything you hear on this call is my opinion only. It started up here, it comes out here, and it all starts right here. All right, so it's my opinion, and hopefully you will share your opinion in the chats as well. So keep in mind, this is Cybersecurity Month again. So I will say, David, and I want to. I can't do things without doing this. If I go to IAEI.org, I want to make sure that everybody knows. So my thought process, David, is 70 Charlie is. I really feel strongly, and the more I think about the concept, the more the stronger I feel. The stronger I feel about the concept of a 70 Charlie. You could take 70E, or maybe you don't want to, I don't know. You can mimic what's in 70E. Take a look at managing the risk, the likelihood and severity, and in 70 Charlie is where you would put the requirements that you say, for example, you want to say you need to install updates as they come out on your software applications, right? Like I have a MacBook Pro, Apple sends out notifications for updates for security purposes. Microsoft, I know, does the exact same thing. I get those notifications from my IT department. We have an IT department. The fact that I've got Max Wandera in my company that is focused on cybersecurity, that's what he eats, drinks, breathes on a daily basis, him and his entire team. Every company that manufactures products or systems, not every company, I will say, I can't say good companies or great companies. I'm just going to say that there are organizations out there that have an entire team that focus on this concept of this topic of cybersecurity, because you have to think about the threat to your infrastructure. And if you make a product, whether it be a router that for networking, whether it be a computer, a phone, it could be a meter that's used in a power distribution system, a circuit breaker that's connected to a network, anything that has a brain is subject to this. And as manufacturers, we're going to want to make sure that, or you should want to make sure that there is some level of attention given to cybersecurity. But many will say the moment you install that product on a network, and they are 100% true in my opinion, in my humble opinion, the moment they put that product on a network, it's vulnerable. No matter what the manufacturer did. And the moment you plug a USB stick into your computer, you're vulnerable. Where did you get the USB stick? Is it a controlled stick, so to speak? Right? So you have all of these concerns about cybersecurity. Wow, those glasses are clean. This little clock did a job. All of those aspects of a power distribution thing, we are getting more and more technical. You can tie a computer to a variable frequency drive. You can put a USB stick on meters and breakers and drives and all kinds of crazily functional electrical distribution equipment. And whether it be in a residential dwelling unit or a all the way up to a utility substation, it's a very important aspect of safety that we need to consider. Cybersecurity is definitely it's obviously getting attention in NFPA documents. Now, I do want to cover, David, before, I know you're in the southern section, and unfortunately you're not there. But I do want to say that if anybody wants to know the schedules, go to education, and then you go to section meetings, and you'll notice that the southern section is October 8th through 11th in Waco, Texas, 8th through 11th, and today is the 10th, so today is Tuesday. It's Rock the Boat Tuesday, and down there at the section meeting in the southern section, if you click on the southern section, you'll get the information, and you'll see all of the leaders. Look at this. Here's all of our leaders that are a part of that. David Humphrey, he is chair of Codemaking Panel 2, which is kind of cool. Susan is chair of a panel. I can't remember what panel she's a member of. So I have to apologize to my buddy. Mr. Wages, I got to apologize because my wife bought me this and I had to use it. What do you guys think? If we had a different dad, we'd bite him in the butt and go find you, Jake and Maggie. What do you guys think of that, huh? Do you think that it was worth displacing the IAEI cup for this session? I mean, come on, look, and it's on both sides. So no matter if I'm right-handed drinking or if I'm left-handed drinking, I can see my Jake and my Maggie, and Jake is a chocolate lab and Maggie is a black lab, so I got both of them right there on the cup. And I do not want to get bit in the butt, so they're my kids. So in any case, you have the bylaws, you have all that good stuff now. There is hotel registration, event registration links for the IAEI Southern Section meeting. And I don't know, that link is probably not active. Oh, it is. So there it is. There's your registration form. There's your agenda. Let's take a look at the agenda. I'm going to allow, and I'm going to open up the, here's what they're doing this week. Oh, I love this. Hold on, peoples. I need to open up the document. I'm going to drag this over here. All right, here is the agenda. Today is Tuesday. They have a companion breakfast. They have a social mixer. Here's your schedule of events: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So what time is it? If this is in Texas, they're an hour behind us. So this would be 11 o'clock. Yeah, this would be, what time is it? This would be 12:59, 1 o'clock. So it's 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock, they're probably going to lunch. 11:55 to 1 is lunch. So they're at lunch. They could watch this. So hopefully you guys and gals down there at the Southern Section meeting, I hope I'm on the big screen. I hope you're watching the IAEI News Live talking about cybersecurity. So this morning they had trade show, they had morning sessions, breaks and visitors, etc. Afternoon session, breaks and visitors, late afternoon session. So they don't have the details of what's going on with that meeting. But in any case, that's what's happening down at the Southern Section meeting. So all of them are at lunch, and I know they're all watching this program. All right, so here's the other thing I want to do is I want to take a look at some of the requirements in these various documents. Now, I think I've covered some code requirements in the NEC. So I'm going to hit one. You know what I'll do is the first one that's up. So the first one that's up on the screen is from the National Electrical Codes perspective is, where's it at? Where is it? I thought I had page 1, Cybersecurity 731, 772. Let me go to page 2. We'll go to the very first section, the greetings. Robert from Omaha, what does the baby computer call its father? Data. Oh my gosh, Robert. You know what, Robert? Oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with you. Where is the first NFPA 70 cybersecurity hit? Here it is, commissioning and planning. So I can't show you the language. At least I haven't gotten approval. I've put the request in. I talked to the man, Eric. I'm going to have to talk to Eric again. But in any case, in 708 critical operation data systems, there is a 708.7. So here's what 708.7 says. Critical operation power systems that are connected to a communication network and have the capability to permit control of any portion of the premises. COPS shall comply with either of the following. 1, the ability to control the system is limited to a direct connection through a local non-networked interface. And 2, the connected through a networked interface complying with one of the following methods. A, the system and associated software are identified as being evaluated for cybersecurity. That's basically a listing requirement. When you say identified as being evaluated for cybersecurity, and David and the inspectors out there, tell me the same thing. Tell me the same thing. Tell me your opinion. This isn't a one-way street. All right, so put your opinions out there, and the first opinion will get balloons. Okay, when I hear the language being evaluated for cybersecurity or being evaluated for, it means listing requirements. Next generation, the Android named Data. You're right, David, but you're absolutely right. So the system and associated software are identified as being evaluated for cybersecurity means a listing requirement. Now, there are 2 informational notes that give us some guidance on what the standards are in regard to cybersecurity. It says in informational note number 1, see ANSI ISA 62443 Cybersecurity Standards Series, and then UL 2900 Cybersecurity Standard Series, or the NIST Framework for Improving Critical Infrastructure Cybersecurity, version 1.1 for assessment requirements. Okay, so these are assessment requirements, and if I have a product, if I have a, and it says a system and associated software. That's interesting language. That is interesting language. It says the system and associated software are identified as being evaluated for cybersecurity, not the components. Grasshopper. So if I go to Article 240, take a look at 240.4, I think it is. I'm waiting for. There's your balloons, David. There's your balloons. I mean, I know it's not related to the comment, but 240. Not 4. 240.6. 240.6. 240.6D. Remotely accessible adjustable trip circuit breakers. This one says the circuit breaker and associated software for adjusting the settings are identified as being evaluated for cybersecurity. The requirements that we just read in 708 don't say components. It says the system and associated software are identified as being evaluated for cybersecurity. So what does the parent text say? Critical operation power systems that are connected to, so that tells me it's not a component. What's your opinion? 708.7. I'm going to do this. 708.7. Take a look at this language. This says, I mean, this is an important topic. Critical operation power systems that are connected to a communication network and have the ability to permit control of any portion of the premises critical operation power system shall comply with either of the following. The ability to control the system is limited to a direct connection. It says system. My problem is the word system, guys. That's my problem. Because it doesn't say components. Does that mean the system? Remember, we had this, David, Robert, we had this same item come up on in Article 690. Article 690 for photovoltaics, the rapid shutdown system. There were requirements that the system had to be listed. And I know the questions at some point arose that how do you list the entire system? What if I got a component from here, a component from there, all that jazz? Well, this is the same thing. It says that the system and associated software are identified as being evaluated for cybersecurity. I don't know that we can list a system. We can list components. We can do a cybersecurity assessment, which is the option B. A cybersecurity assessment has to be conducted on the connected system to determine vulnerabilities to cyber attacks, but I don't know that I could make an argument that all of the components inside of the critical operation power systems have to be listed for cybersecurity, because it says the system and associated software. If it said the system, comma, associated software, comma, and devices within the critical operation power systems have to be evaluated, then I could say any communicating trip unit, all that good stuff, has to be listed to a cybersecurity standard so that you can meet the requirement. I don't know that you could meet A in 708.7 paren 2A. System and associated software identified as being evaluated. And it says now additionally, so here's the issues with 708.7. And the panel initially rejected this. And it went to the floor. System components to be listed for use in security, in cybersecurity. Right, Robert. I think that it needs a better language. I think it needs better language, Robert. I would agree with you. See, I'm supposed to get a thumbs up. When I do that, there it is, thumbs up. So I agree. And so in any case, now the other problem with 708.7 was, and probably and still is, because remember, it was rejected by the code panel. It was there was a notice of intent to make a motion at the annual meeting from the floor of the annual meeting to put it back in again. Now remember when, so here's a little lesson on process. And if you're from Canada, process. A notice of intent to make a motion, which is certified, and it becomes a certified amending motion, which means that the person who made the notice of intent to make a motion, that individual had to be certified, meaning you had to meet the rules. And there are various rules on who can make a motion. Once it's certified, then it's voted on at the annual meeting. Now, what happened in this case, when a change occurs at the annual meeting to put something back in the code, it has to go back to the code making panel, and they again vote on it. If there was a motion made at the annual meeting to remove something that changed from the code, then it doesn't go back to the code making panel. They go back to the last point of consensus, which more than likely is the previous edition. That's what I've seen. If you want clarity on that one, there's some reference documents that you can read. Well, when it goes back in, it has to go back to the code panel. This one, that language, went back to code making panel 13. And you know what? They voted to support it. Probably because the floor wanted it in. The membership wanted it in. So it went back in. Now, there's a couple issues. This one, which the system and associated software are being identified, that's I just realized that just now. I mean, we are, talk about, Nima, Brian Holland talked about this. Oh, I'll have to, you know what? I could double check that one. I don't know if that was a Nima event or if that was that a Florida chapter event? Nima Cybersecurity. So the other issue, my thought process is, David, that the language that you see, that issue, that one just came up to me that said system. I mean, I just had a little aha moment. The other issue was this next sentence. The cybersecurity assessment shall be conducted when the system configuration changes and at not more than 5-year intervals. 5-year interval, you know where that came from. The 5-year interval thing came from this document right here. All right, that's the mindset. At least in my opinion, that's where I believe it came from, because we all know this 5-year thing. About 2 years ago, there's a requirement in 70E that if you have a power systems analysis study, that you have to have it done when the system changes. You have to update it, or every 5 years, whichever comes first. But the problem with cybersecurity, and I think there were some folks from Cisco and others at the table that pointed this out, and very accurately so, if you're waiting 5 years, forget about it. Okay? Forget about it. So the 5-year thing, I don't know that is a good idea. And the NEC is an installation requirement. I don't open this document every 5 years after the installation. If I'm going to make a change, if I'm going to install something, and we, so that I put a public input in for the 2026 cycle to remove that 5-year interval thing, because in my opinion, it does not belong. And then it says documentation of evaluation, assessment, and certification shall be made available to those authorized to inspect, operate, and maintain the system. Okay, I get it. That all makes sense. So I've got two major issues with it. One, the first one was the 5-year interval. That was like a slap in the face for me. I mean, it was like it was very obvious. The other one being a system and associated software, that one just hit me. I don't know. Sometimes you read these words over and over and over, and it's like, wow, how did I miss that before? How do I list the system? Anyway, maybe Michael Hofkin out there can help us. The Eastern section is over, Michael, so you should be online. And I got a thumbs up. I don't know how I got a thumbs up, but I got a thumbs up. All right, so let me do this. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to research through the documents, and I want to go to NFPA 72. NFPA 72. Ooh, I got an error from, there it is. Ooh, I got an error from NFPA link, but it came back. NFPA link was like, hold on, Tom, and then it came back. So NFPA 72 has a chapter 11. What a chapter to pick. Chapter 11 is cybersecurity. Now, is that a foreshadowing or is it not? Chapter 11, Cybersecurity, says 11.1, where required by governing laws, codes, or standards, or other parts of this code, cybersecurity shall be provided for equipment, software, firmware, tools, installation methods, physical security of and access to equipment, data pathways, testing, and maintenance. That is 11.1 cybersecurity. Now, there's enhanced content on NFPA link. Oh, also, if I click on the little star, I'm not going to, I have a problem. I don't have a problem. I like the enhanced contact. BRB. BRB. Be right back. All right, David. Good job, brother. I figured it out. I was going to Google BRB, but I think it's be right back. So 11.1, cybersecurity. There is a star, a system listed as an assembly of components for use in cybersecurity unit. I don't know, Robert. I'd say I look forward to your public input, but too late. All right, there is annex material for 11.1. Here's what I was going down. I like the enhanced material in NFPA link, but you've got to be careful. It's just like the NFPA handbook for the code and other documents. NFPA 99 has a handbook. I think 70E has a handbook, 70 has a handbook. Each of these types of docs have handbooks, and they have the blue material. And I've heard inspectors trying to enforce the quote-unquote interpretation, okay, or the enhanced material. That is not enforceable. That is just what it is. It's enhanced material, all right? So A11.1, which is annex material. Cybersecurity is not required for every system or application. It gives us some, guidance on that. And then it says cybersecurity recommendations are contained in Annex J. So they have an annex with guidelines for cybersecurity in NFPA 72. Well, that's the cat's meow. I like this. And look, it's a huge section. I can't show you. Well, it's not a huge section. It's got J6.1. It's got J1, which is an introduction. J2, cybersecurity provisions. J3 is cybersecurity standards. Here are the standards. So IEC 62443-4-2, which is security for industrial automation and control systems. I need a coffee. Part 4-2, technical security requirements for IACS components. And then there's NISTIR 8259, foundational cybersecurity activities for IoT. You know what I can do here? I can show this. I don't see why I can't. So these are the reference standards. NIST framework for improving critical infrastructure cybersecurity, UL 2900. We already talked about that. Particular requirements for. Look, there is a software cybersecurity for network connectable products. So that's the software. But then look at part 2-3. Particular requirements for security and life signaling systems. So UL 2900 apparently does address the systems. Well, I'll be a horse's patoot. And then there are other standards that are published. So they've got evidence of compliance in here. All systems related to associated uses is included as part. So they have the documentation. You need to have it all documented. They have a cybersecurity certificate maintenance. Ooh. Where a system is provided with a cybersecurity certificate document as evidence of compliance, the validity of the certificate should be checked annually. Okay. So they're saying you need to look at that certificate annually. 70E says every 5 years at a minimum. So this is just, so this looks like a cybersecurity review on an annual basis. I don't know how I feel about that. Because here's my problem, and I've asked cybersecurity professionals about frequency, and you know what they say? It depends. What are we talking about? Likelihood and severity, right? If I have a computer that's on a network that is completely accessible to the entire world every second of every day, waiting annually to do a cybersecurity evaluation is way too long. But if I have a computer that is not connected on the network and it is behind the firewall, it is in a secure location, nobody accesses it for anything, doesn't have any USB ports, blah, 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 maybe, right? So that's why I'm saying it's about likelihood and severity. If I can reduce the likelihood by controls, and every piece of equipment I have in my power distribution system is probably going to be everything should be reviewed to make sure that I am secure. And keeping in mind that my equipment and how I have it exposed makes a tremendous difference in the vulnerability, in the risk that I'm assuming. So every component, you need to do a risk assessment. It's just like in 70E, you do a risk assessment every time you perform work, whether it's energized or not. You're doing a risk assessment, a shock risk assessment, and an arc flash risk assessment. Cybersecurity should be treated the same way. That's why I think we need a 70C. I did put it in, and I believe so did NFPA 72. There was someone who put a proposal in for NFPA 72, but we have heard zip. I've asked to be on a committee if something comes about, and I've not been contacted. So my thoughts are, I'm going to have to ping Jeff Sargent again and say, hey, what's going on with 70C? What's happening? Maybe I'll put the request in again because I haven't heard back either for or against it. All right, so cybersecurity is in NFPA 72. Does the review require certain tests? You know what? So there's nothing in Annex J. So here's my, here's my thought process. Let's do this. UL 2900. I'm going to go out on a dashboard because I'm dashing. I'm going to go to my SCCL. I'm going to log in. So Standards Certification Customer Library. You are already on 70p. That's right, Robert. Truly grateful for on-demand availability of these presentations to catch later what I just missed. Absolutely. And he's back in the saddle again. All right, so let me show you something. 2900, right? So I'm going to go to SCCL. I don't know if you guys have access to this, but I'm going to search for S2. So there is 2900-1, Software Cybersecurity for Network Connected Products, Part 1, General Requirements. 2900-2-1, Software Cybersecurity for Network Connectable Products, Particular Requirements for Network Connectable Components of Healthcare and Wellness Systems. And then UL 2900-2-3 is Software Cybersecurity for Network Connectable Products, Part 2-3, particular requirements for security and life safety signaling systems. I am going to click on that one. And then I'm going to download the standard in English, not French. I'm going to accept all cookies. I just want to go on record. I accept all cookies. Chocolate chip with or without nuts, even granola cookies, or what do they call those? Oatmeal cookies. I accept all cookies. Oh, here's my only limitation. My only limitation. Oh my goodness. Raisins. Who in their right mind puts a raisin in a cookie? Come on. Now, in my opinion, that should be a violation of NFPA 70P for pizza, because cookies can be a dessert for pizza. Now, I'm looking at the standard for cybersecurity, and I'll tell you for 2900-2-3, there's documentation of product design and product use, risk controls. Look at that. It's right in the standard. Risk controls and risk management. Access control, user authentication and user authorization, remote communication, sensitive data, product management. Then there's risk management, vendor product risk management process. Then there's software composition, known vulnerability testing. So Robert, thank you, NHXZ boy. I agree with you. I hate raisins in there as well. So then there is a vendor product risk management process, but there was known vulnerability testing. So there are software tests that are done. There's a malware test. There's a malformed input protocol testing. And then there's structured penetration testing. Oh, you're okay. You're up in New Hampshire. Crystal McElhaney did a presentation last week in New Hampshire. Awesome. You know what I might have to do is try to get her on a program. Oh, David Engelhardt was looking for 70p. It's pizza. Remember, we're going to develop a standard around pizza. I'm going to do that over on my channel. We're going to do a scope. We're going to do the whole thing. We're going to develop a standard on pizza, NFPA 70p. And you know what? There are annex materials around what desserts can and shan't and can't be provided when you eat pizza. All right, so let's take a look at the known vulnerability testing. Table 14.1. The product shall comply with software composition analysis. Oh, known vulnerability testing. Table 14.1 was deleted, so I can't read table 14.1. There's a software composition analysis. The product shall comply with software composition analysis, section 13A1 of the standard for software cybersecurity, or that's 2900-1. There is the product shall comply with malware testing, section 4.1, 14.1 of the standard for software cybersecurity for network connectable devices. That is in 2900. So we got to go to 2900-1. That's what we got to do, people. We got to go to 2900-1. That was good. That was very good, David. That was really good. Yeah, don't go searching NFPA for NFPA 70p. All right, so there is a standard. I'm going to open -1. You know why? Because I can. 2900-1, which are the general requirements. I'm seeking the answer to Robert from Omaha. Here's your chapter. Section 14 is what I'm looking for. So the scope, there's the scope. I believe it was 14.1. There's 11. There's 15. Wow, 14 malware testing. Here we go. Binary code and byte code. Oh my gosh, binary and bytes. Binary, ones and zeros, and then bytes. Oh man, this is taking me back. In the product shall be scanned by at least one malware detection tool to identify if any known malware exists in the final deliverables of the product. This is when you're listing a product. The malware tools shall be applicable to the operating system that the software resides on. Then you have to verify compliance with that requirement. All available binary code and byte code provided by the vendor shall be inspected for known malware. And there is an exception. If a malware detection tool is not available for the applicable operating system, a risk assessment shall be conducted and documented per section 12. So there's the malware. So here's the thing. This stuff changes daily. There are people out there that get paid to do nothing but try to break the system. So what time is it? It's 1 o'clock. I'm at an hour. I was like, it's not 1 o'clock. Can't be 1 o'clock. I'm actually over my limit, but I'm having a good time. So 1:30 was our break-off point. But in any case, the challenge that you have is that they are designing and developing new ways to break stuff minute by minute. So when you install a product, what you want to make sure is all of those, the bill of material. In fact, I'm just looking, there's a software composition analysis, and it said the vendor has to do certain things to be able to analyze the weakness and vulnerabilities in accordance with, it says, note, this process may also be known as a software composition analysis. Information produced from this can be used to build a software bill of materials. So a bill of materials of all of what you're putting into your product is critical. You've got to source the products correctly. And you have to have that supplier police on duty, right? To make sure that what you're buying to put into a product. So when you and I buy products like I have an iPad or a computer or a breaker that has an electronic chip in it, you want to make sure that the manufacturer has gone through the proper steps and policies and procedures and implemented the right methods to identify where they're getting their parts from, and evaluating all of those source codes and whatnot to make sure that that you install a known good. But the problem and the issue with cybersecurity is that known good today, once it's installed and plugged into a network and then people have access to it, is not a known good tomorrow. So there are vulnerabilities. We have to understand that risk. I will go back again to say, why are we even talking about this? Is because this month is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So it started in 2004. The President of the United States and Congress declared the month of October to be Cybersecurity Awareness Month. This is the 20th Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and it's the first time I talked about it on this channel. I didn't even talk about it last year in October. So that's a goof on my part. And it started in 2004, so it's been around for a while. Stealing money and stealing control. Absolutely, same thing. If you're stealing money, right, and stealing control, that is bad. So there is a great resource here. I will put into the chat, Control C. You should please check that out. If you're out there on our YouTube site, I hate when I do this. I come up here, I do a copy, and then I should come down here and do paste. Paste, and hit send. There it is. So I just put the link to this document. It is from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. It is a .gov site. There are some steps to keep you cyber safe, and They have a recognition of the 20th year in our world. And then we have 4 easy ways to stay safe online. And you have use strong passwords, turn on MFA, makes you significantly less likely. Enable MFA on all your online accounts, social media, and financial accounts. MFA. I'm not sure what MFA is. I think that is your verification. Recognize and report phishing, and then update your software. So these are the 4 items that that they're telling us. These are 4 ways to stay safe. Remember, cybersecurity is not just about electrical infrastructure, it's about at home too. So there are a lot of resources available, and these aren't. Oh, download the toolkit below. So you have a toolkit down here. So all of these are available from the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. And NEMA has a cybersecurity webpage that has the NIST cybersecurity framework. You can link to it. And they have a cybersecurity procurement language. I will put that in the chat box. So if you go out there to the YouTube site for IAEIs and subscribe to it, you can have access to that as well. So that is the NEMA site. You have download the NEMA guidelines for cleaning and disinfecting electrical equipment over there. That's a nice little ad. So cybersecurity is definitely a, how about we do NFPA? Let's just do a search for NFPA cybersecurity. Let's see what they have available. Power your expertise with NFPA. Cybersecurity for power protection systems. So this is a document apparently. And it's loading. Awkward Moments by Tom. Research Foundation. So this was a cybersecurity for fire protection system. A final report. Jessica Chevreau, Phil Owens, etc., etc., etc. This was published in 2021. So here is a resource for you from the cybersecurity. I'm going to paste this. I'm going to do a copy. 3 weeks of last year was restoring systems after cyber attacks. FBI got involved. Lots of work to clean that stuff up. Absolutely. I'm telling you what, it is paste. And this is the reference that we just talked about from the Research Foundation. It's something that, if you think about the National Electrical Code, I get the installation requirements. You know, it raises the awareness, all that jazz. What's another one? How about ESFI? Cybersecurity. But when you have an event, it's not good. Electrical Safety Foundation addresses counterfeit product, not necessarily cybersecurity. And I'm not seeing a safety tips, commercial disasters. So I'm not seeing a cybersecurity. Let me just look on their website. Got Surge. I'm not seeing anything on cybersecurity. So yeah, talk to Brett. Just search their site. Cybersecurity. Nope, I'm not seeing any data on ESFI. So UL had some good information. So did NEMA, and so did the cybersecurity awareness from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. There's a lot of great resources on that website. Check out those links in the chat box that I posted. I hope you will be able to get some value out of those. Well, other than that, ladies and germs, I am going to call this one a day. So I enjoyed our discussion today, and I was supposed to be on a call, which I missed because I had my meeting in here from 12 to 1, and it went from 12:30 to 1:30. Oops. Sorry, buddy. So in any case, please remember to stay safe and all that jazz. Gracias amigos, mucho gracias, señor. How do you say buenos dias, buenas tardes, good afternoon, buenas tardes. So, señor. So in any case, I am going to stop this program, and I appreciate everybody dialing in on YouTube and probably out there on Facebook. Thanks for everything. Thanks for all you do for the electrical industry and for electrical safety. This topic of cybersecurity, I'm going to call it a day. I hope you got something out of it. Remember, be cyber secure. Get your evaluations done. Avoid the time and the waste of money, waste of time, and possibly damage to equipment and damage to your infrastructure. Thanks for all you do for electrical safety. Thanks for what you do for the electrical industry. Thank you, David Engelhart, everybody else. Smash that like button, hit that thumbs up, and make it happen. Be a rock star, and thanks for all you do. Take care, stay safe. See you next week.